Hello YouTube! Today in the Naughty Librarian we are doing my mid-February wrap-up. You know what? So far, so good this February. I have read 6 books so far, which I feel like is a very nice number, I guess. I don't know, I've been a little lax on things, and then sometimes I've been not, I don't know. I've been very up and down with my reading, but I feel like 6 is still a really good number, and one of them's pretty chunky. So anyway, let's just go. Let's talk about what I've been reading lately. First category is sci-fi, and I read 2 of them. First things first, I read Leviathan Wakes by James S.A. Corey, and overall I really enjoyed this. I think I ended up giving it 4 instead of 5 stars, mainly just because it is far too long. It just really is. It's really overwritten. You could probably take out at least 100 to 150 pages of this and just tighten things, and I think it still would have been just as good. There's just like a lot of walking around and thinking about stuff. Besides that, this book did go to a lot of different places that I was not expecting it to go. For example, there are 2 POVs in this book. First we have Holden. He is like a ship captain, a space miner guy, you know, just trying to do his best, but keeps getting put in shitty situations. You know, that's like the POV I expect from this book. The one I wasn't really expecting was Detective Miller. And Detective Miller has this whole like noir detective gumshoe kind of story, and I don't like noir stories, but I really like this one, mainly I think because it has a lot of other sci-fi shit going on, so maybe that like filled in like the gaps I don't normally like in noir, but this one was like killing it. And it's very like old school noir, like gumshoe, morally gray, kind of questionable activities he gets into. Also, you know, in love with this girl, like the girl he's trying to save, just kind of obsessed. He gives me like kind of like Casablanca vibes even. I don't know, like I was like, obsessed with him basically. And also, just gonna lay it out here, space zombies. What? Did not expect zombies? Like at all, and I was very surprised that there were zombies in this. I mean, I don't really think that's too much of a spoiler. It's been out for a while at this point, and there's a TV show about it, so yeah, space zombies. I thoroughly enjoyed it so much. I had such a good time with it. And I do kind of want to know what happens next. I don't know if the series is a bit episodic or not, because like a lot was going on here, like kind of politically in the greater universe, you know, storyline here. Basically, Earth has colonized the rest of the solar system. This is in the future. Earth was not doing well, so a lot of people moved off. They went to other planets, like some people are living, you know, in the rim, so to speak, like they're in like Mars, or they're on the moon, or they're on some of like the moons of like Saturn or Jupiter or something. They're all over the place essentially. And that's kind of actually where the world building comes into this, because a lot of the people look different, they have different culture, they have different like language depending where they're from. Like a lot of the people from like the belt, like the asteroid belt, a lot of them grew up with artificial to low gravity, so like their body structure is really different than people who grew up on Earth with full gravity. Like a lot of people on Earth are shorter now because all the people who grew up in like the belt, they have less gravity, so their bones are just longer. And so they're all taller and they have a different bone structure. A lot of them, like all the ones that have like formed their own little colonies off-world, kind of have their own like language now. So there's a lot of world building going on here. There's a lot of like political structure. There's also space zombies, a detective noir story, and, you know, an exasperated ship captain, kind of what I was expecting with him, but still enjoyed it. So overall, like, I think it has a lot of really cool stuff going on, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think I am going to continue with the series, although I don't know if the series continues with the same characters or not. So I'll have to read the next book. I think it's called Caliban's War, book 2 of this series. I'll have to try that one out and see what happens. I also read Goliath by Toshi Onyabuchi. And this is like a really good book that I don't completely understand what happened in. Does that make sense? I feel like that makes a lot of sense actually for Toshi Onyabuchi, because a lot of their books are like that, where like you're like, wow, this is so well written and lyrical and poetic, and like the vibes and like how deeply emotional he gets into these characters is all fantastic, but if you ask me what the plot was, I couldn't tell you. So the basic idea here is that it's in the somewhat near future. Earth's resources kind of are almost depleted, so everyone with the means to do so has left Earth to live in like these space colonies, or the ones who don't really have enough for a space colony but have enough in general move into like the suburbs or whatever, these cities, and they build domes around them so they can like protect them from radiation and all of the bad stuff that's in the natural world now, because you know shit went sour here. And then everyone else just kind of has to fend for themselves. So it's a lot of, so they're using this biblical metaphor of David and Goliath in context to space gentrification. Like that's like the most simplified version of what this story is about. But it's also about like just so much other stuff. I feel like it's a lot about what the Black experience is like. There's a lot of characters here who aren't necessarily dealing with the gentrification, but they're dealing with the world around them and how they have to struggle for things that other people don't have to struggle for, and just feeling like impotent rage about things. There's also like multiple POVs. It's told in 4 parts, and each part kind of focuses on different characters a little bit, so I don't know. I really couldn't tell you what the plot of this was, because there's just a lot going on and it's all just big mishmash of stuff. But he wrote the shit out of this book, so I don't know. I think I gave it like 3.5 to 4 because like it's very well written. Like I think it's brilliant. However, I don't know what happened in it, so it's one of those toss-ups. You know, it's like maybe it's like seeing like a really fancy artsy film and you're like, I get that this is good, but I don't know what happened, so I'm just gonna pretend I understand what's happening. Full on one of those. So do I recommend it? Yeah, but like don't feel like you're gonna understand the plot. Just read it because it's really well written, and all of like the metaphors that this person is using is fantastic, and I feel like it really does like hit something different. So I think it's good. It's just I don't know what happened in it. Next category is historical romance, and I read 2 of them. I read Highland Wolf by Lindsay Sands, and this is part of the Highland Bride series. And the thing with Lindsay Sands books, historicals in particular, is that they're all kind of the same plot. Like there's certain things you're definitely going to expect out of a Lindsay Sands historical, and if you like those things, great. If not, then you might like be very upset that all of the books kind of have the same things in it. But I use the reference, it's a bag of mini Snickers. Every Snickers tastes the same, but it's okay because you like Snickers. And this one, like, honestly, I'm a little torn about because, like, okay, so, let's explain. This is Claret and Connell. So, Connell, aka Bryson, was a character we were introduced to, like, way back in the series. Like, I think book 1 of this series, when he was a little boy, and then we never heard about him again. For reasons. Basically, someone killed his whole family, and he was the only one who survived, so they had to hide him, so he's going by Connell now, essentially. And then, Lady Claret, who was actually his betrothed when, you know, he was Bryson. So, and now he's a mercenary, and her uncle's trying to marry her off to, like, this bad guy. And so he's like, okay. And then the dad of Claret says, hey, go get her, because otherwise she's gonna get forced to marry this dude that no one likes, and he's terrible. And he's like, okay. And then he goes and, like, kind of kidnaps her from her wedding, but she's cool with it. So there's all that. And, you know, they have the long trip back to her dad's land, I guess, and lots of other stuff. Basically, someone is trying to either kill her or kill him, because a lot of people have tried to kill, like, everybody in his clan, and, like, she's probably someone's trying to kill her because she ran out on a marriage, so, like, there's murder plots afoot here. Side note to all of that, Claret is full on Snow White. Like, everywhere she goes, she finds a poor little helpless animal, and then she nurses them back to health, and so she's just like literally walking through the forest with all of the animals following her around at all times. Like she has like a wolf, like a dire wolf that's like her best friend, because like she found him as a little like abandoned pup, and so like now she has a dire wolf friend, and like it's straight Snow White, and like either you're gonna think it's so silly you won't like it, or you're gonna think it's silly and fun, and I think it's silly and fun. I'm like, yes, bring me all the Snow White you got. I like it. Now here's the thing that kind of makes me torn about this. This is kind of medieval Scotland, and you know, the church is a big part of their lives, and let's be real, the church is not known for their hot takes on sexuality. So in this time period, you know, a lot of the preachers and the pastors, the priests, what have you, are preaching that you know, enjoying sex is a sin, and it's sinful, you're gonna go to hell if you like sex. So that's like a whole thing in this book, and I think if they left it there and it was a cute little anecdote where Claire is like, but like, I like sex, does that mean I'm going to hell? Oh shit, I'm gonna go to hell because my husband knows how to dick me down proper. Fuck me, right? However, Annabelle, our heroine for book one, who grew up in a convent, fully understands this situation, this dilemma, and she's like, listen, you promise to obey your husband, right? So if your husband wants you to enjoy it, hey, lady, you're just following orders. You can't go to hell for that. You made a promise to do that too. And she's like, I like how you think, lady. And I feel like if they left the sexuality debate there, it would have been a fun, cute little anecdote, and I would have moved on. However, this idea becomes like the crux of the story. Not with Claire, I'll say that. I don't want to get too spoilery, but like basically, like, oh boy, there are some religious nut jobs in this, and like I was like, really? This is like the whole like crux of the villain arc of this story. What is happening? They took a cute anecdote and then just took it too far. So like, I don't know how I feel about it, because like, oh my gosh, I liked it until it got to that point, and then I'm like, this is stupid. Like, it got so stupid so fast. So I'm a bit torn on my feelings about it, because do I like this? Yeah, but like, is it also really stupid? Yeah, so I don't know. It is what it is. I liked it, although I think it's stupid, so I'm gonna give it like 3.5 stars. There you go. Like, it's fine, it's smutty, it's delightful, it has like rom-com stuff I enjoy, but like, oh boy, did it take a turn to Stupidville like real quick. I also read Wild Rain by Beverly Jenkins, and this book has been on my shelf for like a hot minute, and I was so excited to finally pick it up. This one is a Western. It's taking place in like after the Civil War era, so like very much a Wild West kind of era. And we're in Wyoming, and we're following Spring. She is a young woman who has her own ranch. She's a rancher. She's doing she's living her best life. She's doing her own thing. She finally like made her own way in life. She had a very rough start to things. And in comes Garrett. He is a very kind of bookish, mild-mannered reporter from back east who's coming to do like a story on Spring's brother, who is a doctor. And so it's like very much a Wild West rancher woman who's like, you know, writing her own ticket for things. She go into a bar and order a whiskey and drink you under the table. Wild West woman. Cinnamon roll hero. So I like that dynamic in general, and overall it feels very Beverly Jenkins. Like, if you've read anything else by Beverly Jenkins, you kind of know what that means, where a lot of her stories are a bit slice of lifey. I don't know how else to describe this, but basically there is a plot, there is a goal, and a villain arc, and like it follows that structure, but a lot of it is just the characters going about their lives and like talking to people, going to town, saying, hey, what's up, bro, and like having conversations and like living their life, feeding the chickens, what have you, you know? So it's like a lot of like boring regular everyday stuff, but then also has that like character growth and arc, and like a villain coming in causing the right conflict at the right times. So it kind of finds that happy medium between stories that are just like a story about stuff and then things that have a plot. Like, it has a plot, but it's also just very much a story at times. So it's kind of that middle ground, and I appreciate it. And of course, if we're talking Beverly Jenkins, we're going to talk about the hero just being like, oh my goodness, just a smoke show. Like, frankly, Garrett, oh my word, like, he puts the book down and things get hot quickly. So he's like sexy, confident, stands up for Spring, loves her as she is. She doesn't need her to change. And Spring is very independent and like, you know, she's a little firecracker out here. So I feel like they kind of like blend well together. And I don't know, I had fun with this. Is it like amazing? No, I think it's very good. So I gave it 4 stars. Like, you know, it's not amazing and it's not bad. It's just kind of, it's good. It's good for what it is and I enjoyed it. If you like a good Western story with like a fair amount of smut in it and like a romantic hero who's just like a smoke show, like this is the book for you. So I enjoyed it. I think it was very good. Not incredible, but very good. Solid 4 stars. Last category is contemporary romance, and I read 2 of them. I read Love and Other Disasters by Anita Kelly, and surprisingly really enjoyed this. Like it's not like I went in thinking I wasn't gonna like it. It's just a debut author, so I had no, you know, frame of reference, and like I really liked it. I loved it. I think it is catering to my sensibilities a little bit, mainly because it's a steamy romance that's set on a cooking competition show, and I love cooking shows so much. We're following Dahlia and London. They are both contestants on this reality TV show cooking competition thing. And they meet. There's a little bit of like sparks. There's a little bit of enemies to lovers at first, but you know, very quickly forms friends to lovers kind of situation. And both Dahlia and London are dealing with their own, you know, traumas. Everyone's got their own trauma, and these 2 included. So Dahlia is divorced, kind of trying to find herself again after being in this like relationship and marriage where she feels like she never chose what she wanted. She's always just been going with the flow, and so she has to like, who am I? What do I want? I need to do things. And then you have London, who is on TV being openly non-binary. So this, you know, journey for London is a bit different because you're doing something very public, and you know, the world we live in, it would be great if everyone was just accepted and everyone's pronouns were respected, but that's not necessarily the world we always live in. So London is dealing with their own stuff too. In the course of this, you know, they kind of get together, they have this really cute romantic buildup, and then surprisingly smutty. Like I wasn't sure what the smut level on this was gonna be, just because this is a non-binary character, so I didn't know if they were going to get into anything involving like talk of genitals because, you know, I don't know, it's a non-binary character and some authors choose not to definitively say which, you know, which set of junk they got. So I didn't know how like smutty this was gonna get, but it's surprisingly smutty and I'm fully okay with that. I think it was handled very respectfully, and like I love them together. They're kind of like cutesy, adorable, cooking. Oh my gosh, there's like so many desserts. So it's really cute and fun rom-com. It's got cooking in it. It's got, you know, a really kind of a sweet romance, and like I was obsessed. So surprise of all surprises, I really enjoyed this. I gave it a solid, like, I don't know, I'm gonna give it a 4.5. Screw it. I really liked this. I had a great time reading it. I thoroughly enjoyed my time with this. Last up, I read How to Marry Keanu Reeves in 90 Days by K.M. Jackson. And this one, I gave it a solid chance. Mainly because I had read another book by this author and DNF'd it. And it was a book I was super hyped for that year, so I was like, maybe it's just that book. Like, I want to give this author a fair shot. So I read the whole thing. However, I did want to immediately DNF it. So I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna DNF for the same reason twice. Oh no. And I've done that before, but I really tried to give this one a go, and I did. I finished it. It was very short. But basically, oh my gosh, this is a hot mess. Okay, let's explain. In the end, I think I gave it like 2 stars generously. You know, I don't hate it, but it's not good. There you go. I don't hate it, but it's very much not good, so 2 stars. There are many reasons why I feel like that this doesn't work. First of all, the story is ludicrous, frankly. It makes no sense. So they have this woman, Lou, and she is in her mid-40s. Like, mind you, these characters are all in their 40s. 40s. And they are grown-ass adults acting the way they're doing, and it makes no sense. If they were like 20, I would go so high as like 27, 28, late 20s. I would give them up to late 20s to be like this. After that, it's just like, how the fuck did you get this far in life, lady? Lou is obsessed with Keanu Reeves. One day she finds out, hey, Keanu Reeves is getting married in 90 days. And she's like, I must stop the wedding. Because that's a completely normal fucking reaction to have about a celebrity you have never met in your life. You're like, I need to go stop their wedding. That's what I need to do. What? And I see like where the author probably wanted this to go as like a metaphor a bit about not growing up and wanting to stick to something safe, maybe, but none of that is actually described in the book, so that's just me rewriting things in my brain to hopefully make it make sense. And then you have True, who's her best friend, and agrees to help her on this trip across country, trying to find Keanu Reeves. And here's the thing, True has always been in love with Lou. And it's just, I don't know what he gets out of this relationship. There is nothing for him here. And at times he even like realizes this, like, and it's sad, really. I've just felt sad for him the whole time because I was thinking like other rom-coms I've like read, Lou gives True like the barest scraps of attention and affection. Like, just the barest little scraps of anything. And True will take them. He's like, I don't care if it's nothing, at least it's something. Because, like, then that means I get to have Lou in my life, even if she's just a friend. Like, I'll take whatever she'll give me. Which is so sad and pathetic that, like, how are we rooting for them to be together? Frankly, True, you could do better. Get the fuck away from this lady. She's awful. So basically, it's a very flawed lead character here, and not flawed in a way where they're interesting. It's flawed in a way where it's stupid. And you know what? I'm talking myself into hating this more and more. I read a lot of rom-coms where the situation was reversed, and if our romantic lead was best friends with someone that they're in love with who barely gives them anything, you would not root for this woman to end up with this person. You would be like, drop him, she would find someone else, and this new guy would be the new romantic lead. Tell me that's not how so many rom-coms have worked. And this one says, nah, fuck it. We're gonna have him end up with the shitty person. Like, why? Why would they be together? She is the literal worst. She is in her mid-40s, and she is going across the country to try to stop a celebrity's wedding that she has never met. Because she is an insane person who never grew up, and she doesn't give True any attention at all. I don't get it, and like now I kind of hate it. Like the 2 stars might have been overly generous. Okay, I'm just gonna stop because like I really gave this a fair shake. I read the whole thing, and I don't like it. It's just, it's just not good. Like, all of the like character development doesn't happen. It's just like a couple things get mentioned here and there, but like none of like the key conflict for this character is ever gone into. Anyway, I'm just gonna keep rambling and ranting about this book forever if I don't stop now. So let's just end it here that I don't like it. It's very bad. Alright, so that's all I've read so far this February. So far, so good. I still have some cool, fun books on deck for the second half of February I am very excited about. Come hang out with me the last Saturday of this month. I do have my next episode of Drunk Classics going live. This month we are reading Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. I can't pronounce this lady's last name. I've tried. Let me know in the comments down below, what have you been reading lately, and have you really loved it, or have you been really disappointed in it? Let me know in the comments down below. If you like this video, make sure you give it a like, and if you want to see more videos, make sure you subscribe. And I'll see you guys soon. Bye!